Huskies football on Sportsnet USA is presented by DG Sports, Marketing and Broadcasting, helping your company find a sound path. Really thankful, really grateful you could join us for tonight's matchup between the visiting Mount San Antonio Mounties against the hosts, the East Los Angeles College Huskies. I'm Dan Gadino, flying solo tonight. East Los Angeles coming off a huge victory last week here at home, a 60-7 shellacking on Compton. Mount San Antonio coming off a loss against the perennial power, Chaffey College, a 24-22 loss, and so they're hungry for a victory tonight. East Los Angeles is 2-1, so is Mount San Antonio. So just moments away from kickoff on a special night. Earlier today, the 1974 state championship team of East LA was celebrated, and it's also alumni night and recruiting night here at East Los Angeles. This one's fielded at the 5-yard line, lots of space. Justin Watkins gets dropped right at the 31-yard line. East Los Angeles will operate on offense first. Head coach of the Huskies, of course, Bobby Godinez in his 5th season. Also serves as the athletic director. So Wesley Blazek on the year, 37-59. This year, play action, first pass incomplete. It was intended for Braden Peterson. East Los Angeles operates out of the no-huddle offense. They look over near side for the play. On the clock, 14 minutes, 47 seconds. Just underway, first quarter from Weingart Stadium. Blazek over the top, caught at the 50. Past the 45 of Mount San Antonio, so a first down. Big gain there for the Huskies. So all it takes is 2 plays to get into Mountie territory. Got a little bit of a stoppage here. Official stoppage. East Los Angeles, a high potent offense, averaging 415 yards total offense per game in this young season. They do it through the pass game, averaging nearly 300 yards. Blazek rolls out, looking under duress. Too high this time. 2nd and 10 from the 43 of the Mounties. Blazek coming all the way from Lafayette, Louisiana to play quarterback for East Los Angeles. On the clock, 14:08. 2nd and 10. This one's caught at the 35-yard line. Gets close to a first down. That's Peterson with a gain of 9. The out route. Coach Bobby Godinez has an excellent crew behind him. Offensive coordinator D. Drummer, Coach Drum as they refer to him, has been with Coach Bobby Godinez since the beginning. He's also got his right-hand man in Ronnie Castillo as the offensive lineman. This time the offensive line gets blown up for a loss of 2 there. That'll create 4th down. We'll see what Coach Godinez and the Huskies elect to do here. So it will be a chess match. It will be a tough matchup tonight. Looks like they're going for a long field goal here. A 53-yard attempt right here. Kick is up. Short. Decent attempt there. That was Juan Rango with the attempt. So the Mounties will take over at the 12:37 mark of this first quarter. So against East Los Angeles, Mounties are just 1-0. From the 36, a handoff. That was Rashard White with the carry. 2nd and 8 as the clock continues to tick, under 12:20 now. At quarterback, Dylan Flanagan taking over Zach Rangel, getting his first start tonight. Just 1 of 5 this season. Flanagan, under duress, takes off himself, will just pick up 3 yards there to the 40-yard line. That was actually his 5th attempt at a rush this year. So it'll be 3rd and 6 now. Pressure situation for the Husky defense now. The Husky defense has only allowed 68 yards per game in the run game. Quick slant over the middle. It's caught, enough for the first down. Past the 45 and dropped at the 48. That was Weaver, the big tight end from Pasadena. So the Mounties line up quickly out of a pistol set, 3 wide this time. They'll keep it on the ground with White. White gets to midfield. On offense, the Huskies average 418 yards per game. Well balanced. They average 224 yards through the air and 194 on the ground as they operate on a 2nd and 8 with 10:28 remaining in this first quarter. Pistol set, 3 wide. Whistle is blown.
Number 22, 5-yard penalty, remains.
So a false start called on the Mounties. That'll back them up 5 yards. Advantage Huskies. This will be a game of field position. Coach Bobby Godinez in the previous possession electing to go with a 53-yard field goal attempt. That was no good. Here, a 2nd and 14 from the 45 now for the Mounties. Pistol set, 3 wide. It'll be White. White gets blown up in the backfield. Now a 3rd and long, pressure situation for the Mounties. They'll line up with 4 wide here. White lined up to the left-hand side of Flanagan. The snap. Three-step drop. Flanagan under duress will just throw it away. East LA looking for a flag, but he was out of the pocket. That will bring up fourth down at the 9:11 mark. First quarter, no score. Ben Key there causing the disruption on Flanagan. That's Blackman who calls fair catch at the 9-yard line. Huskies take over for their second possession on offense in this ball game. 9:02 remains first quarter. No score from Weingart Stadium on the campus of East Los Angeles College. Really thankful, really grateful you could join us. Dan Gadino here flying solo on Sportsnet USA. You could see Bobby Godinez down there giving a pep talk to his defense. Really proud of them. But the Husky offense will operate on a 1st and 10 from the 9. Swing pass, far side. That's Munguia, gets across the 15 and picks up about 7. Excellent play there. Munguia went in motion to the far side. 8:45 remains first quarter. I talked to a few of the coaches from East Los Angeles prior to the ball game, and they mentioned they feel like they have a chance. Over the middle, intended for Munguia, past the 30, over the 35, bulldozing his way through to the 38-yard line. Excellent pickup and a first down for the Huskies. That's Munguia's 16th reception, and he's the leading receiver for East Los Angeles. 1st and 10 from the 38. Under 8 minutes to go. 4 wide here. Handoff. That's Robinson, finds some space past the 40 and gets bumped out of bounds. Another big pickup. Pickup of 22 there from Robinson. So a little bit of momentum here as the Husky defense on the previous possession held Mount San Antonio, giving a bit of confidence to the Huskies here at home. 7:25 remains. Out of a pistol set, Robinson gets blown up. Actually will lose a yard. That's Connor Helias in the backfield who pops Robinson. That'll create 2nd and 11 now as the clock continues to wind down. Under 7 minutes now. From the 39, Huskies operate 4 wide, trips near side. Blitz comes in. It's Munguia, past the 40, able to get off a defender over to the 30 and nearly gets to the 25-yard line. So Munguia, the go-to receiver here tonight thus far. That's his 3rd reception of the ball game. Got an injury on the field here. We'll step aside here on Sportsnet USA. That's my broad.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome back to Sportsnet USA's live coverage of Huskies football from Weingart Stadium on the campus of East LA College. It's a 1st and 10 from the 27 for wide receiver set. Blazek looking, he'll go towards the end zone. Cut in and out of the hands. Would have been a touchdown. Justin Watkins can't make the catch as Tim Mellen joins us in the press box.
Thank you very much, Dan. Great to be with you, fans. You know, that was the second play that the Mount SAC defender Colin Keanu was in there on defensive back, a 6-foot sophomore from Rancho Cucamonga. And he had really good pursuit. And I think the pressure that he applied to the receiver rattled him.
Robinson, far side. Gets gang tackled right at the 25, a pickup of 2 there.
Robinson around right in.
It'll be a 3rd and 8 now. 5:35 remains.
Dan, it's been an interesting comparison to the first game they played here about 3 weeks ago when it was no score going into the 4th quarter. Much different game this time.
4 wide. Blazek looks near side. Will attempt one at about the 5-yard line. A dud. Incomplete. That brings up 4th down. And a possible second attempt for Juan Rangel. Here he missed his first field goal from 53 yards out.
Defensive back Leon Barnett, a sophomore, 6 foot, 185 pounds, way out of his element. He's from West Palm Beach in Florida, and he had good defense of that. Completely kept the receiver from even getting free, getting deep.
Rangel, the lefty. Is it good? It is. Through the uprights, and East Los Angeles opens up the scoreboard 3-0. On top of the Mounties, 5:11 remains in this first quarter. Advantage East LA thus far. First possession, a field goal attempt that was no good. Second try from Rangel. This time he hits it.
No score with about 5:11. No, excuse me, folks. 3-0. Obviously a field goal, 3-0. Get settled in here and get used to that no score. But what I meant to say was that opening game where they played against El Camino College, it went 3 quarters with no score. And I'm looking at the scoreboard. It says 3-0. I was thinking that 3-0, 3 quarters, 3-0. But it is 3-0 East Los Angeles College over Mount SAC, which should be a great game. Chaffey beating Mount SAC last week. And tonight, Chaffey is playing at their home against Pasadena City College. So that should be a real tough game for the Lancers, as if Chaffey is good enough to beat Mount SAC, they're certainly good enough to be very competitive.
Rangel boots this one, high wobbler, taken up at the 4-yard line. Return of 14 yards. Fayimalo returned that one there. So the 3rd possession for the Mounties now on offense. 5:05 remains. East Los Angeles 3, Mount San Antonio 0.
Mount SAC started their season at Bakersfield. Bakersfield Renegades. They have brand new renovated stadium, and they won that game convincingly, 34-7.
That's a tough place to play, partner. First carry from Redden. Rugby style pile there. Finally, whistle is blown after a 2-yard gain.
You know, it was interesting. We mentioned El Camino College being the first team to play here this year and this season. Last spring, we were talking to the El Camino athletic director, and he was talking about exactly how difficult it is to play in Bakersfield, and especially when they travel well. They send a large contingent.
Jet sweep near side. East Los Angeles all over that one. That was Jonathan Schofield. That was Schofield's 5th carry of the season.
Schofield listed as a wide receiver. He's a sophomore and even 6 feet, 180 pounds, and he's from Las Vegas, Nevada. Both these teams have players from out of state. And that's the big change we've seen in the past maybe 20 years or so, is now players can transfer in just about any particular way.
The big anchor, Ben Key, right in the middle, playing nose tackle, always applying pressure. Pass near side, incomplete. Excellent pop by Carlos Alvarez, knocking Schofield out of bounds. Schofield might have been able to get a foot in, but Alvarez there just knocks him out of bounds. That'll create a 4th and 10 now. So it instantly becomes a game of field position, and it looks like East Los Angeles will pick up great field position. Wobbler, fair catch called, and caught at about the 45-yard line by Jonathan Blackman.
45-yard line and just about a 45-yard punt, too, for Mount SAC. Mentioned Mount SAC earlier, winning their first game against Bakersfield, and then they won at Long Beach, too. They played Veterans Stadium last week, 36-20 win. And, of course, last week, as we mentioned, that loss to Chaffee. So they are 2-1. And they're in here tonight against East Los Angeles College. 3-0. East Los Angeles leads, 3:35 remaining, first quarter.
Robinson lined up to the left-hand side of Blazik. Play action. Blazik will throw deep down the sideline. Too long. Flag is thrown.
Truquan Heath, the defensive back, 5'8" sophomore. They were pushing and shoving the whole way, and that's one of those things where were they both trying to go for the ball, or was one impeding the other? And we're going to have to see offensive pass, defensive pass interference. We'll see.
A little bit of a discussion. It might go either way.
That's right, Dan. It was hard to tell because both had a good line on the ball, and we're just going to have to see right here. Let's see what the call is.
So not a pass interference, but a holding call.
Well, that's basically pass interference anyway. I mean, you know, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Do you hold the guy or do you have pass interference?
On the clock, 3:28 first quarter. Trips far side, single receiver near side. Robinson shifted to the right-hand side now. Play action over the middle, in and out of the hands of Brian Jones.
Oh, and he's just pounding the ground. Look at that.
Jones would have been off to the races possibly.
Oh, definitely, and you know how irritated he was. He was seeing touchdowns. He was seeing 6 points, and he pounds the ground. He comes to the sideline. His coach pats him on the head, said, "Don't worry about it, bro. You know, we'll have more chances."
2nd and 10 from the 43. 3:24 remains. The snap. 3-step drop. Running back screen. Past the 40 is Robinson. Robinson gets tackled from behind, but gets pushed forward to the 34-yard line, and a possible first down. It is a first down. Chain gang being asked to move.
Pierre Robinson, 5'9", 175 pounds, running back out of Paramount.
East LA moving quickly now. Same formation. 3 down linemen for Mount San Antonio. Looking over to the sideline now for the new play.
Huskies definitely passing team.
Blitz comes in, play action, over the middle, Munguia with the catch, but gets lit from behind. Tackled by Emmanuel Raquet.
That was a little different from that previous pass play when East Los Angeles had maybe 2 or 3 receivers going right over the middle. That one just a single receiver over the middle. As we mentioned, the passing team of East Los Angeles against the Orange Coast College, the first game of the year, they had a ton of passes, much more than Orange Coast did.
Blazek rolls out, looking. Will just throw it away intelligently. That creates 3rd and 4. On the clock, 2:01 remains as East Los Angeles leads in this first quarter, 3-0 on top of the Mounties. Dan Gadino here alongside Tim Mellen for Sportsnet USA's live coverage of Huskies football.
Dan, this is overtime for both you and me. Last night,
That's right, partner.
last night, Dan and I were in beautiful San Pedro, California to broadcast a high school game.
Blazek once again takes the snap, play action. Has a man open deep. Incomplete.
There's that flag.
Late flag comes in. I think Darren Jones did an excellent job of selling that one, as if he was held from behind.
Traqueen Heath, the defensive back, there's one of those players that's from out of state, from Highland Springs, Virginia. So leaving the cold weather to come here to the warm weather in Southern California. And apparently he was the one that they were pointing the fingers at and throwing the flag on. And Dan, you said that looked like a sales job?
Yeah,
Run that by me one more time.
Totally.
Well, he sold me. I was certainly fooled by it.
A minute 56 remains, first quarter. East Los Angeles looking to shock the world of football. If East Los Angeles could come up with the victory here at home, would still be considered an upset.
But, of course, Mount SAC with that loss last week against Chaffee, at least you know they are vulnerable now. So they're not the Superman that many people thought they'd be. They had that loss versus Chaffee.
Maury Rams checks in at quarterback. Toss to the end zone. Picked off. Mount San Antonio football. Trayshawn Pickett. Just didn't put enough air under it. Blazek just laying it into the hands of Pickett.
Well, I kind of disagree with that one, Danny. He put a ton of air under it, and actually that was what the issue. That was what the issue was. He had too much air under it, and he threw it right to the guy. But it was a great job by the offensive receiver to reach over, and he almost. You saw it was a big tug of war for Same.
So that's already 2 possessions that East Los Angeles comes up empty.
Fine defense by the Mount SAC Mounties, mounting a good defense with 1:49 remaining in the first quarter.
Play action. Too high, intended for Schofield. 1st and 10. Now a 2nd and 10. A minute 43 to go, first quarter.
The quarterback, Dylan Flanagan, as luck would have it, as I was checking in at the press level, not press level for me. I paid with pretty much everybody else, but coming in, I ran into Dylan's grandfather who flew in for the game.
This time it's White around the edge, past the 40, pushed out of bounds. Big pickup by Mount San Antonio, and the biggest play from scrimmage for the Mounties tonight. They've been kind of quiet tonight, Tim.
Well, Rashad White, the sophomore running back, 6'1", 190, one of those out-of-state players from Kansas City, Kansas, not Kansas City, Missouri. And we mentioned Dylan's grandfather, of course, flew in way from Florida for the game.
Rashad White, the leading rusher for Mount San Antonio. Close to 400 yards this season with that carry. Under 60 seconds to go. White will not get away from Big Ben Key. Extracurricular right there.
White, very big. Big Ben Key, very big. And very big scrum right there with all the players. Grande Scrummo.
Mentioned earlier, Big Ben Key anchors that defense. East Los Angeles only playing with 3 down linemen out of a 3-4 alignment. They prefer speed from the edges, and Ben Key likes to just clog it up in there.
This could very well be the last play of the first quarter. Just about 10 seconds left. If they get it off at all, if he doesn't see what he likes, he may just wait. And let's see. Will he get it in?
Flanagan looking. Man open. Nearly intercepted in and out of the hands of Shamar Westone. So that is the end of the first quarter as the East Los Angeles College Huskies look for the upset here at home, leading currently 3-0 from Weingart Stadium on the campus of East Los Angeles College. I'm Dan Gadino, really thankful, really grateful you could join us. Also alongside the former voice of Washington State University sports, Tim Mellen.
I'm not absolutely sure I want to admit to that after what happened last week. But the Cougars have a chance to right the ship tonight against University of Utah up at Rice-Eccles Stadium. And just like anybody else, they're wondering, how in the world can a Division I team in the Pac-12 that's rated maybe in the top 20 blow a 30-point lead with 7 minutes left in the third quarter? Well, I'm sure it was a team effort.
It was totally a team effort.
And I actually allowed Dan to give me a bad time about that because last week when we were doing a high school game against Franklin and Fairfax, Dan completely missed predicting who would win, and the score was the exact opposite. So I gave him static about that. So now we're even. I give him permission to give me static. And I get to vent too, because then I can get it off my chest also. Come on, Cougs. Tonight against Utah. Go, guys.
So we're both 1-1 on the season.
Definitely, definitely.
Start of the second quarter, 3rd and 17 from the 34. Flanagan underneath. Incomplete. Intended for White.
Rashad White.
It looked like it was an unnecessary jump from White there. Just took a hop step. Should have kept his feet on the ground and caught it with 2 hands. Instead, he went one hand.
I disagree. I think it was high. I think it was high.
Back deep to receive, Jonathan Blackman, the sophomore, 5'9", 170 pounds from Lawndale High School. Takes a Mountie bounce at the 30-yard line. It'll roll slowly to the 20.
He got a 20-yard bounce out of that. The 20-yard bounce ends right at the 20. Great punt. It would have been about a 43-yard punt without the bounce. So, real good job getting it out of harm's way as far as the offensive team is concerned. Now you can see East Los Angeles College clustered around their coach there with the 3-0 lead here just at the start of the second quarter. East Los Angeles is going to try to move and put a few more points on the board. Tim Mellen and Dan Gadino with you on my maiden voyage on this TV network.
Sportsnet USA, presented by DG Sports, marketing and broadcasting, helping your company find a sound path. A penalty called against East Los Angeles.
Matt SAC rated number 18 in both the Junior College Athletic Bureau coaches and CCCSIA football polls. So even with the loss last week, they're still in the top 20.
The microphone for the head official is a little off.
You know, Dan, this is very similar to the weather we had last night in San Pedro. Little, not quite as windy, but more inland is our geographical location.
Blazik will have to take off himself and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. That'll bring up a 2nd and 10. 14:25 remains in this first half. East LA up 3-0.
Mount SAC has had 4 years basically on the road out of their stadium.
They'll keep it on the ground. Spinning off a defender, trying to come near side.
Mount SAC renovating their stadium, home of the famous Mount San Antonio College relays, which are just huge in the world of track. And I remember the first time I saw the stadium about 10 years ago, I thought this is the famous Mount SAC. It wasn't quite a top-notch facility, but that's all going to change next year as they're ending a 4-year renovation of that venue. And in the meantime, their players have been playing at a Covina City field instead.
Over the middle, dropped once again. So the Huskies have been plagued by drops. That's Watkins' second drop of the ball game. He dropped a touchdown. He dropped what would have been a first down here.
Now, Dan, would you think with the drops, would ELAC being a passing team anyway, they're not having good luck passing because of the drops, would you try a run now just to kind of break things up, throw a little variety into it? Or?
Well, it's 4th down now, so maybe in the next possessions, East LA will punt now. 4th and 9 from the 16. 13 minutes, 25 seconds remain, second quarter. East LA up 3-0.
Most of the crowd on the south stands, one person on the opposite stands, on the north side. So all the action on this side, almost like what we saw last night in the high school game with Cleveland at San Pedro.
Rangel, end over end kick, fielded by Schofield at the 45 of their own. Schofield still going. Dancing around, finds a seam, past the 40, moves on moves by Schofield. So the game of field position has instantly flipped in favor of the Mounties as they'll operate in Husky territory now.
You know, he should have had maybe the maximum of that, maybe 4, 5, 6 yards, but some great jukes, some great moves, you see him, and he actually expanded that to a 20-yard gain after he picked up the ball on the ground. Really good athleticism always. First getting to the ball, which was bouncing around to begin with, recovering himself, and then 4 or 5 nifty moves to turn maybe that short gain into a 20-yard gain.
13:06 on the clock, second quarter, 1st and 10 from the 35. White bulldozing through, gets to the 30, gain of 5. You get a sense that this will be the Mounties' best possession. And it's only been one play already at the 30-yard line. 2nd and 5. Snap. That time it's Malachi Thompson coming all the way from America Samoa.
You know, they're moving for touchdowns, but in the game last week, the thing that turned the tide for Chaffee was 2 field goals. Late field goals, late in the 4th quarter.
So both sides were looking for a flag. Fourth down now. 4th and 3 from the 28. Trips near side. Man open. Gets the first down past the 20. Jordan Irby.
Jordan's a freshman wide receiver from Monrovia, California, just up the road, just north of here. And Mount SAC is definitely moving.
11:50 remains. That's Thompson trying to evade a defender, tackled by Emmanuel Carter. That brings up 2nd and 9 from the 17. Now San Antonio operating out of the no huddle offense, 3 wide receivers far side. Evades a defender, throws too low to the feet. That was intended for Jontavius Walker.
Dan Robledo out of Tucson, Arizona. Almost had himself a sack right there. But as you said, the quarterback eluded Mr. Robledo. Daniel, a 6'5" 280-pound freshman. And as we mentioned earlier, lots of players on both these squads from out of state.
3rd and 8 now. On the clock, 11:15. Flanagan gets ripped from behind. Once again, just way too short on the attempt. The blitz came in, and Darian Franklin Tinsley got to the back of Flanagan as the field goal units come onto the field.
Now he was grabbed from behind, and I could have sworn that the ball slipped out of his hands. It looked like it slipped. Very obviously it looked like it slipped, but even with that, he got good forward momentum on the ball, but definitely short with the fine defensive play by East Los Angeles College, and now we got ourselves a 34-yard field goal. Let's take a look.
Timeout called by the Mounties at the 11:13 mark of this first quarter. We'll step aside here on Sportsnet USA. Huskies lead at home 3-0. Second quarter, 11:13 remains as Gabriel Dunkel will now attempt a 34-yard field goal. The lefty kicker, Schofield, is the holder. It's up. No. Wide right, so the Huskies remain with the lead. 11:06 remains. Plenty of time.
It looked good from here. It was kind of hard to tell. Tons of height, tons of distance, just a little off. You know, it's funny, throughout the year, Dan, we've been talking about Joe Namath's recent biography, and he even talks about the field goals in that particular book. He says it makes it look so easy when you're looking at it, but really it's very difficult because the quarterback has to do everything right, the holder has to do everything right, has to everything timed perfectly, and it has to be hit squarely. And that's an example of how difficult it is to get it right through those two uprights.
4 wide for East Los Angeles. Keeper. Lasik will go nowhere as he's taken down from behind. Tyrion Brooks with the tackle there for Mount San Antonio. Second and 11 now from the 19. Robinson gets shifted to a wing. Pass to Robinson, nearly interception. Excellent defensive play by Le'Veon Barnett, flying into the picture.
You know, we've seen that 2 or 3 times tonight here, Dan, to where extremely athletic defensive plays and offensive plays as receivers diving over the top of the defender and the defenders diving over the top of receivers. Incredible athleticism, and it's good to see too, because no penalty because they're both going for the ball, and that's just good play.
Delay. Robinson picks up just 4 yards. That creates 4th down, so that's the 5th unsuccessful possession on offense for the Huskies. As special teams unit jog onto the field. 10:06 remains.
We were talking about renovated fields and how Mount SAC opened the football season with a big win over Bakersfield, and the first game that Bakersfield had played themselves in their renovated stadium. And of course, as we mentioned, Mount SAC looking forward to their renovated stadium after 4 years on the road, and that happens next year.
Rangel boots one. It'll bounce out of bounds. So the game of field position still in favor of the Mounties, Tim.
And Dan, do you see that as a trend developing as we move on into the game based on the previous records of these two teams as to who controls the field position? Or maybe at halftime they'll make some adjustments both ways, and then some opposite things will happen.
Well, it's up to the offense, though, to pick up some yardage and avoid the opposing team to have such great field position to start a possession. 9:30 remains, 1st and 10 from the Mountie 49. Handoff up the gut of the Huskies, a pickup of 3 yards by Dominic Redden. That's his 3rd carry of the ball game.
And like you were saying, Dan, you would think with the good field position that's been happening that there'd be more scoring up to this point. But nope, just 3-0. 3-0 East Los Angeles College over Mount SAC with 9:04 remaining.
Well, you would expect this to be a low-scoring affair, as East Los Angeles only allows 15 points per game. Mount SAC only allows 17 points per game. 4 wide. Schofield caught at the 48, gets past the defender, down the sideline, all the way to the house. Touchdown, Mounties. Unexpectedly.
That's Jonathan Schofield, 6 foot, 180-pound sophomore out of Palo Verde High School in Las Vegas. Just eluded an ankle tackle, and once he got free, he was free of pretty much everybody. He was down the sidelines. He was down the sidelines for a touchdown, and Mount SAC has a 6-3 lead.
We saw the athleticism from Schofield on a punt return. He also operates as the holder there on the extra point, up and through. And now a 7-3 ball game in favor of the number 18 Mount San Antonio Mounties. 8:41 remains.
The lights finally starting to completely take effect here, Dan. We're high up in the press box, pretty much the same way we were last night in the San Pedro and the Cleveland high school game. However, we were outside the press box in the wind, and that afforded us that great view. Really nice view here, too, as we look north with the clouds. Just a different type of view and a different type of scenery. The background, some nice suburban apartments, houses right in the background, and we can see that. And of course, we had that great view last night looking out over the whole San Pedro Harbor with the boats and the berthing where the ships come in to berth. And 8:41 remaining. Mount SAC 7, East Los Angeles 3. Mount SAC, Mount San Antonio College. ELAC, East Los Angeles College.
A wobbler taken up by the up back. Gets popped forward past the 40-yard line. I wonder why you would allow a team to have such great field position.
Well, Dan, maybe it's not so much they're trying to allow it. Maybe that's just the way. My father had an expression, that's the way the old ball bounces. Maybe that might be the case sometimes. It's just the luck of the bounce.
On the clock, 8:37 remains. Second quarter. Number 18 in the state, in the house here at Weingart Stadium on the campus of East LA College. Munguia catches it at the 40, finds a seam down the sideline and into Mountie territory.
Now, Dan, that's that outside pass, that short pass that we mentioned Washington State head coach Mike Leach has implemented so successfully up in Pullman, where you have the quick pass to the running back and you have two receivers who crisscross in front of him, and they choose whichever block they're going to need, and if done successfully, they spring their man, and that's what happened there. His man was sprung.
New quarterback in, it's Jamal Evans. Handoff Robinson over the 45 and gets close to the 40-yard line. Elects to go out of bounds at the 41-yard line. That's a pickup of 7 there. 2nd and 3 now. On the clock, under 8 minutes to go. East Los Angeles looking to respond, but here's the thing I was talking about, Tim. Now they're instantly in Mountie territory just after 2 plays. Pistol set. Robinson gets knocked down in the backfield. That's Corey Johnson able to disrupt there.
Corey listed as an offensive player, wide receiver. Corey Johnson, 5'10", out of Clovis, California, 175 pounds. And as we saw last night in the high school game, a lot of players going both directions.
Evans, 3-step drop. Gets taken down for a sack. Connor Helias given credit there.
Well, you've heard that song, Embraceable You, Embrace Me, and that's pretty much what happened right there. That looked exactly like what happened. He was in like a bat out of HE double hockey stick, and he tackled his man, embraced him, and down he goes.
The Mountie blitz works to perfection. Schofield, who has the lone touchdown for the Mounties, back deep to receive, standing at his own 20-yard line. Looks like the Mounties are going to bring the heat here. Wobbler. Fielded by Schofield.
5.
Schofield showing his moves, spins off a defender, dives forward, past the 45, and a flag comes in late.
15-yard return, Dan, as what happened at the previous series of downs. A very short return turned into a longer return with some nice footwork. Maybe a 1 or 2 yard return turning into that 15-yard return. And let's see what the flag is. Holding. Offense. So that'll send him back number of yards, and they'll start from about the 20-yard line.
With 6:10 to go in this first half, Mounties in the lead now, 7-3.
So that really negates that nice 15-yard return. Now push deep back into their own territory. Look at the 3 receivers wide to the left.
As they run the ball right-hand side, down the sideline. Possibly picks up the first down. He does. A gain of 11 there. That was Rashad White.
Well, Rashad may be from Kansas City, Kansas, but he's learned the territory here pretty quickly. And he certainly understands Southern California football territory, as he was very confident moving down those sidelines, far sidelines.
Trips near side. It's White again. Up the gut of the Huskies. Decent pickup. About 3 yards there to the 40-yard line.
We've got ourselves a game. 7-3, Mount San Antonio College.
You get a sense that the Mounties are comfortable with running out the clock to end the first half. They want to leave as little time as possible for the Huskies as they take their time.
Well, that would make sense. Mount Sac, of course, being famous for the track and the running. So, football team trying to run out the clock.
It's White being pulled from behind. So a loss of 2 there, possibly. You could tell the Mount San Antonio side was looking for a flag for unsportsmanlike conduct there.
Mount Sac 2-1 on the year so far. That opening win against Bakersfield, and then the next week the win against Long Beach City College, and the painful loss last week against Chaffee, who, as we mentioned earlier, plays Pasadena City College tonight.
Caught at the 39-yard line. That's Jordan Irby. Picks up just 5 yards. That creates a 4th and 3 with 3:50 to go. Back deep to receive is Blackman, who's standing at about the 24-yard line. Dunkel. Fielded and dropped. Blackman decides to just fall on it and live another day. 3:32 remains in this first half. Mount San Antonio up 7-3.
Great punt. I was counting it out as it went through the air. I had it listed as about a 47-yard punt. So not a bad leg there. As Dan, as you like to say, he swung his leg. Swings his leg. Swings his leg and kicked the ball. Did he? Yes, he did.
So Blazik will get a opportunity once again. They went with Jamal Evans, the listed athlete. Blaze it back with 4 wide. 3-step drop, looking. Oh, poor attempt there with the swing pass.
I wouldn't say it was a poor attempt so much as I would say it was a great defensive play by the defender right there.
Yeah, intended for Armando Velasco.
Yeah. He was right there. And the ball was catchable. And the receiver was tackleable. And the ball was deflectable. And the defender deflected said football.
On the clock, 3:23. 2nd and 10 from the 22 now. 4 wide, play action. Looking right. In and out of the hands once again. Justin Watkins with his 3rd drop, Tim.
And almost intercepted. And we've been talking about those drops, Dan. And it was like, what, do they have grease on their hands or something? Or they forgot to wear their football receiver catching gloves? facetiously, of course, we're saying that. Sometimes things just go that way. But the ball was almost intercepted. And as we hit the 3:17 mark remaining in the first half, Huskies moving deep from in their own territory.
Lasik, near side, complete to about the 25-yard line. Just a pickup of 3 yards there. That'll bring up 4th and 7. 3:03 will remain.
Defensive back Treshawn Pickett, 6'5", 185. Another out-of-state player from Round Rock High School in Stony Point, Texas, was the man that drove him out of bounds.
Schofield standing at his 45, calls fair catch right at midfield.
You know, I think, is it my imagination or is that like one of the few fair catches we've seen on punts tonight?
That's Schofield's second fair catch.
Okay, well, I knew it was low in the countable one. It could be that Schofield is the fair catch guy, but a lot of other punts, the players have tried to return them and done a good job at that in returning them, turning punts into additional long gains after making the catch.
Right at midfield, the Mounties will operate as they look to the far side. The longtime coach, Bob Jabstrap, over a decade at Mount San Antonio. Flanagan, right side, gets popped. Ben Key there to disrupt. He's doing it tonight for the Huskies. Such a disruptor at the nose tackle position. Typically double team, at times triple team, and still able to get through.
And that looked like that previous play, Dan, to where it looked like I said it looked like the hand, it slipped out of his hand, but as you mentioned, it's more like he's discombobulated by the defensive player. And then it looks like a slip pass, but in reality, he never really gets the pass off correctly.
The snap, looking left. Throws left, complete. That's Peterson. Gets dropped at the 45 of the Huskies. A gain of 5. A flag in the backfield, though.
Yeah, now, what would that instant flag be? Because the flag was right at the point the receiver caught the football. There was nobody around him. So I was thinking, what's that, a phantom flag?
Well, every time there's a flag in the backfield, it tends to be a holding. And that's the case.
Okay.
So now East Los Angeles gets a little help from the Mounties, as this is truly going to be a game of field position if East Los Angeles could hold.
Coming into this game, the ELAC Huskies have 116 yards rushing. Compare that with 298 yards of passing. And East Los Angeles has only allowed 68 yards rushing. So good defense over the first 3 games.
Delay. White. Able to evade a defender, but gang tackled by the Huskies. Gain of 4 there. That'll create 3rd and long now. 1:40 to go, second half. If I'm the Mounties, I'm milking the clock for all it's worth. And I'm pinning the Huskies back deep in their territory if I don't get the first down here. Five seconds on the play clock, 1:15 on the game clock. Flanagan looking right, complete. Irby gets the first down. So at this point, do you call timeout? Now still plenty of time. 1:07 remains. Clock continues to wind down.
Be interesting to see how they, and of course East Los Angeles College is really delaying getting their players on the field, trying to run the clock down as much as they could.
East LA sends 4, caught.
First down again. hurry-up offense is definitely hurrying up.
That was Brandon Quinones with the first down. Excellent effort by the Mounties here late in this second quarter. 4 wide. Flanagan. Far side, once it, same play, out of bounds. Quinones with the catch. Actually, that's Sean Bowden, excuse me.
East Los Angeles College defender knew they were going to pass, and he shot the gap and tried to get in, but very quick was the Mount SAC quarterback getting it off quickly. So they definitely have the momentum now. They are moving. It's like they've shifted into a different gear. The game was just kind of grinding along, and all of a sudden the passing game has really picked up, and they are knocking on the proverbial door, as it were, or if you will.
29 seconds remain. 2nd and 3 from the 16 of the Huskies. The snap into the end zone. Picked off one-handedly.
My goodness. A one-handed catch by the defender. How about that, sports fans, for athleticism? Aaron Hill, the defensive player. My goodness. One-handed catch. Well, we were talking, Danny, you and I were talking about how the East Los Angeles College offensive receivers had a really hard time handing on to the ball, but maybe they should learn something from their defensive players. They say, if you guys on offense can't hold on to the ball with 2 hands, I'll just show you how to catch a ball on the defense with 1 hand. Take that into the locker room, study it, and then come back, and then maybe you can catch better in the second half with 2 hands. And that's how he did that.
Huskies are content with going into the locker room with the deficit. Down 7-3. It's halftime here at Weingart Stadium on the campus of East Los Angeles College. The visiting number 18 Mounties lead it 7-3. It's halftime here on Sportsnet USA. And we are underway for the second half. Schofield allows it to go out of bounds. That'll be an illegal procedure call against the Huskies as the Mounties lead 7-3. Start of the second half. This is Sportsnet USA's live coverage of Huskies football. Really thankful, really grateful you could join us. Dan Gadino alongside Tim Mellen.
Dan will tell our viewers and listeners that during the second half, what we're going to try to do is keep you updated on the scores in the community college, the junior college world. Games in progress, but mostly games that have concluded. So you'll be staying tuned for that, hopefully.
3 wide receivers set for the Mounties. White carries left side. Disrupted in the backfield.
Just the start of things here in the second half there, sports fans. 7 for Mount San Antonio College, 3 for East Los Angeles College. And we are underway with Mount SAC moving left to right. That would be west to east.
Over the middle, it's Schofield. Star wide receiver of the Mounties picks up 9 yards. Mounties strike first in the second half.
Well, something must have happened in the locker room with that long break during halftime. I'm sure the Mount SAC coaches got together, analyzed things, took things in stride as to what to look for, and definitely they noticed some things. That was obvious, because that first offensive play for Mount San Antonio College Huskies going about 75% of the field on some nice runs, and made it look pretty easy, actually. And so we've got ourselves a 14-3 score as the visiting Huskies, as the visiting Mounties over the homestanding Huskies. And it is 14-3. Running through some of those scores we promised you. El Camino College in a home game defeated Orange Coast College 21-3. El Camino led from the outset, and they were never headed. They scored 7 in the first quarter, and they never lost the lead.
Munguia from his own 5-yard line between the hashes cuts it back near side over the 30-yard line. That was actually Robinson with the return. Gain of 25 there. On the clock, 13:30 remains.
The latest score we have from the Mount San Jacinto game against Glendale College at Glendale College, which is just up over the hill here, maybe 15, 20 miles away. It's the fourth quarter with about 6:12 left. The visiting Mount San Jacinto leading Glendale by 35-28.
Robinson in motion far side. Handoff. That's Maury Rams. Gets hit super late. Late flag comes in.
Well, he mentioned something must have happened at halftime. Definitely more energy at the start of the second half than we saw going throughout the course of the first half. So a shot of adrenaline on behalf of the both coaches and both teams. And intense runs to start off the second half. And some intense play. So a little chippy on the sidelines, as it were. And that'll be marched off a 15-yarder there, folks. Right at the 50-yard line.
On the clock, 13:24 remains. Mount Sac in the lead. Handoff. Robinson has to cut it back towards the far side. Manages to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Pierre from Paramount, California, 5'9", 175-pound sophomore, did a good job turning a 6-yard loss into at least getting to the line of scrimmage.
The pressure is on the Huskies. A practically non-existent offense. Drop after drop plagued East Los Angeles.
But don't forget that beautiful defensive one-handed catch by the Husky defender.
Blazik under duress has to take off and picks up half of a yard. That creates 3rd and 9 now.
Here's a final for you. San Francisco City College defeating Butte College. San Francisco moving to 3-1, Butte even at 2-2. San Francisco in front pretty much the whole game, with the exception of the start.
Robinson from the 40-yard line gets enough of the first down.
It was interesting to see how those two defenders were cornering him, trying to corral him. And he was kind of like trying to find a little hole right between the two of them.
Blazik, pitch. Robinson goes nowhere, will lose a yard.
In that San Francisco Butte game, San Francisco in front right at the end, but in the fourth quarter, Butte scored 15 unanswered points and at least made it respectable. Final score 35-24. San Francisco over Butte in the city by the bay.
Robinson actually lost 2 yards. So 2nd and 12 from the 41-yard line. 3 wide receivers set. Robinson lined up to the right-hand side. Blazik looks right, slant over the middle, incomplete, intended for Braden Peterson.
Check those flags. Extracurricular activity after the pass had been completed.
There is a flag down.
Pass behind the receiver. And the penalty flag behind most of where the action was. Modesto Community College beats American River. American River drops to 2-2. Modesto now 4-0. Final score of that one was Modesto Pirates 38 and American River 20.
So a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called and a freebie. 15 yards, it'll push the Huskies to the 26-yard line. That leaves 10:54 on the game clock. 3rd quarter. Blazik looks right, throws left, batted down at the line of scrimmage. Excellent play by Mateo Wynn Rodarte, the linebacker from Diamond Ranch High School in Pomona.
San Jose City College having all kinds of problems this year. They dropped to 0-3. They were completely blanked, goose-egged, however you want to say, 0, by Merced College, who even their record at 2-2 with a 27-0 shellacking in Merced. So Merced over San Jose CC.
Blazik takes the snap. Slant. Caught. Watkins gets across the 15. And a gain of 12, enough for the first down. Into the red zone, the Huskies attack at the 10:35 mark. Third quarter.
Justin Watkins, 6-foot wide receiver. Another one of those great out-of-state players, hailing from Claremont, Florida, where he played at East Ridge High School.
Huskies get the play in from Coach Drummond, the offensive coordinator in his 4th year alongside Bobby Godinez. Pump fake to the end zone. The seam route, too long there.
He triple clutched, waiting for his man to get open. And then when he threw, he was assuming that his guy was going to be there when the ball got there. And kind of under pressure towards the end after double and triple clutching, finally getting the throw off, and just a little too wide, an uncatchable ball. Citrus College, like Old Man River, just keeps rolling along. Another great year for them. They're 4-0 as they defeat Santa Barbara City College.
Looking towards the end zone, too high, picked off. No, actually caught out of bounds.
Caught out of bounds, yes, but what a great athletic defensive play it was to go sky high like a center in basketball, going up to snag a rebound. We've seen some great athletic ability, leaping, jumping with both the receivers and the defenders to those receivers tonight. And that in itself, I think, at least to me, has been kind of worth the price of admission.
That would have been Pickett's 2nd interception. Trayshawn Pickett as the Huskies line up with 3 wide, 2 split backs. A carry. Robinson past the 10-yard line, a pickup of about 6 yards. A fumble recovered by Mount San Antonio. But what was he down? That's the question. Oh, well, it is a turnover.
Times like these, it would really be great to have instant replay, because I thought...
No, it's not. He was down, actually.
He was down, okay.
Yeah, 4th down, actually.
Yeah.
Pardon me. 9:25 remains. Rango gets it through. Make it a 14-6 ball game now.
Field goal is good. 14-6, Mounties up.
As I mentioned, Citrus downing Santa Barbara tonight by a score of 12-3. Santa Barbara at 1-3, and the home team Citrus 4-0, always a powerhouse. Allen Hancock, another powerhouse, downs West LA. Oh, hold everything. Sorry about that, folks. That's at the end of the second quarter. Allen Hancock leading West LA 18-7. In the first period, with about 47 seconds left, San Diego Mesa is visiting Grossmont JC, and San Diego Mesa leads by a score of 14-0.
Clock reads 9:19. Third quarter. A one-score lead for the visiting number 18 Mounties, the perennial power of the South. Rango boots it end over end. Schofield from his own 1 yard line. Runs it near side, gets spun around to about the 17-yard line.
Those JC scores that we gave you, those are all earlier starts. And as most of the Saturday night action gets underway, usually evening games, 6 o'clock games, usually 5 or 6 o'clock. As those scores start to come in, we will relay those onto you. But the earlier scores, afternoon starts.
Mounties will take over on the 17-yard line, first down.
Dylan Flanagan and company now back out on offense. Up the middle. Gain of about 3 yards to the 21-yard line.
Very interesting halftime we had here tonight as East Los Angeles College Foundation commemorated the 1974 undefeated Husky State Championship squad. Nice, real nice ceremony.
Flanagan, swing pass. It's White, plenty of space, evades one defender, gets the first down, and gets pushed out of bounds just short of the 40. So after that first possession for the Mounties, a big touchdown run by Rashad White. A 59-yard run to the house.
In that opening win over Bakersfield, the Mountie offense had 420 total yards, 236 of those rushing, 184 passing in the game, and 2 touchdowns by Rashad White. And we're seeing him putting on a show here tonight.
Again, White picks up 1 there. 2nd and 9 from the 36-yard line as the clock reads 7:50 and ticking. Third quarter.
It's a nice feature on the Mount San Antonio College webpage about the Mount SAC players who have signed with 4-year schools after having been graduated and then transferring to upper division football programs.
Flanagan, White drops it. Late flag comes in though.
Pass is incomplete, intended for number 7.
Possibly heard footsteps there.
Covering on the play for ELAC, number 21.
There was some doubt, Dan, as to whether he might have caught it and then dropped it, maybe fumbled it. But I think on second look, it was obvious he never really had possession of the ball. But it looked at first look that he might have caught it, then dropped it. No.
Second down for the Mounties.
Mentioning those Mountie transfers, a grand total of 18 who have transferred out of Mount SAC into higher football programs.
More flags come in this time.
Flag on the flag.
Dead ball, false start.
About half of those 18 have transferred to Division I teams, about half to Division II teams, and 2 of the Mount SAC Mounties have transferred to NAIA teams. The 2 NAIA teams, Ottawa, Arizona, and a ton of players from Mount SAC playing for Texas A&M at Kingsville, 4 of them. So they had a whole slew of them who transferred to that one spot.
Flanagan. Far side running back screen, incomplete. Dominique Redden took his eyes off of it. Had plenty of space, had the cavalry in front of him.
Dominique Redden, a sophomore, 5'11", 210 pounds, out of Newark, Delaware. And as we said, the hits just keep on coming. The players just keep on coming from out of state. Seems as if every time we look up, we're mentioning a player who's involved directly in the action, who's playing for one of these teams from out of the state of California.
3-man front from East LA. They only rush 3. They get plenty of. And a sack. Emmanuel Carter, that's his second sack of the ball game.
Quarterback Dylan Flanagan doing something not that wise there as he was carrying the ball away from his body. You're just inviting somebody to just grab the ball, knock it away. Did not tuck it in, and he avoided something that could have been not good.
Fair catch by Jonathan Blackman at the 6:41 mark
Flag,
of
2
this
flags.
third quarter.
Number 90, Emmanuel Cater, on that last defensive play for the Huskies. There is a flag on the punt.
Getting back to those Husky transferees, mentioned the Division I teams they transferred to. One for University of Missouri, Louisiana Lafayette, Boise State, Old Dominion, University of Hawaii, Utah State, University of New Mexico, Houston Baptist, and down to Division II, Azusa Pacific right here down the road. Southwest Minnesota State, schools I bet you didn't even know existed. Texas A&M Kingsville, as we mentioned, 4 players of Mount San Antonio going there. 1 to Texas A&M in Commerce. And, of course, the 2 NAIA schools, the Ottawa, Arizona schools. So about 18 that have transferred from Mount SAC, of course, which is a perennial powerhouse and doing a really good job of moving their players up to the next level.
East Los Angeles, after the penalty, will be pushed back to the 27-yard line. 1st and 10. 6:41 left, third quarter. East LA trails 14-6. Jet sweep. Near side past the 30. A pickup of about 5. That was Brian Jones with the jet sweep there.
Brian Jones has been resurrected from the Rolling Stones. He's here playing for East Los Angeles College. Brian Jones of the Stones, running like a Rolling Stone, making the gain.
4 wide now. Blazik throws too high. Intended for Cedric Hood there. 6:01 to go third quarter. 4 wide once again. Blasek rolls out, pumps. Might have gotten the first down.
I think he got it, Dan. Looks like forward progress. Yep, there it is.
Enough for the first down. On the clock, 5:40 and rolling.
And the feature we do, we pick the high school players who have transferred to community college programs, and then we focus the spotlight on that particular community college program.
Blasek, 3-step drop. It gets batted down in the backfield. It was batted down by Tyron Brooks, the freshman from Maryland.
And we mentioned in that JC High School tie-in how surprised we were that San Pedro was the host team, had not sent any of their players to Harbor Community College, which is their closest geographically.
Blasek, 3-step drop over the middle, caught,
He's
spun
off to the
around.
races.
Brian Jones inside the 20, evades another defender, gets taken down inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal for East Los Angeles, and a chance to cut the deficit to 1 point possibly after a score.
Well, up to this point, with this 14-6 lead, East Los Angeles College, Brian Jones, they could say, I can't get no satisfaction there, folks. But Brian Jones certainly got a nice pass and got a ton of satisfied players as he brings his offensive team all the way up to the 8-yard line.
Jamal Evans checks in at quarterback, the athlete, as Mount San Antonio will call timeout. A sense of urgency now called by the Mounties.
So, looks like with 4:40 remaining here in the third quarter, East Los Angeles College Huskies knocking on the proverbial door. They're at the short end of a 14-6 game. I'm Tim Mellen. To my right, I have Dan Gadino, and we're in a nice, warm, lit booth tonight compared to last night at San Pedro. But the folks at San Pedro High School were really great to us. They gave us a great vantage point, and like I said, just a beautiful view of that spot. And we mentioned the fact that San Pedro hadn't sent any players to Harbor Community College, just the opposite for Cleveland High School, who ended up sending 4 of their previous year's players to Pierce College, to Pierce JC. So the Brahmas picked up a quartet of Cleveland High School players.
Big package in for East Los Angeles. Up the middle, bulldozing through. It's Ben Key who gets his carry. So the big boy package is in as Jamal Evans conducts the offense at quarterback. Ben Key once again in at running back. Ball lined up at the 5-yard line. Key typically plays D tackle. Play action, roll out. That was read cleanly. Sack. Tyrone Tellini with the sack there. So trying to get too fancy there are the Huskies. 3:55 remains third quarter.
Embrace Me, My Sweet Embraceable You was the song that defensive player had, and he knew exactly what was going to happen. And a fine defensive play.
You would think the Huskies take a shot in the end zone now. One safety back deep for Mount Sac. They're showing blitz. Blasek looks to the near side for the new play. From offensive coordinator Drum, he elects to call time out. He's upset. So that last sack by Tellini really threw off the Huskies. Clock is stopped at 3:26, third quarter.
There's a halftime score, Dan. Cabrillo leading Hartnell by a 10-3 score. As some of these other late starts, not too many coming in yet. In the fourth period, with 14:52 remaining, College of San Mateo, fondly known as CSM, leads Fresno City College by a score of 14-3. In the fourth period, with 14:49 remaining, a real close one at Bakersfield. We've been talking about the Bakersfield Renegades and their renovated stadium and how East Los Angeles was successful in invading that stadium early in the year and getting away with a win. Golden West leads Bakersfield Renegades 14-13 in the fourth period with about 15 minutes left.
Third and goal from the 15 now. Munguia in motion towards us. Play action. Over the middle, batted in the air. Nearly intercepted. Colin Cano able to get a hand on it.
You know, Dan, on and off we've been talking about the biography of Joe Namath and some of the things you learned by reading it, and that's an example of one of the things he revealed in his book, that as you get closer to the end zone, it's kind of easier to defend because you have less space to defend, and so they had a lot of defenders in on the one man.
The field goal attempt is good, and now a 14-9 ball game.
Field goal is good to give the Huskies 3 more.
That was from 32 yards out from Rangel. On the clock, 3 minutes, 15 seconds to go in this third quarter. Mount San Antonio 14, East Los Angeles 9.
In the third quarter, with about 9 minutes remaining, Compton College, who last week had a pretty bad defeat at the hands of Mount San Antonio College, but they were playing with a reduced squad. So the game it really kind of wasn't fair, basically. But Compton College Tartars having their issues tonight with visiting Santa Monica College Corsairs, as the Corsairs lead Compton College by a score of 14-zip in the third period. Cerritos is tied with Canyons in the third.
It'll be Schofield. It'll be a touchback as his back foot touched the end zone. On the clock, 3:13 remains. Third quarter.
We've got ourselves a good one here. Mount Sac 14, East Los Angeles College 9. So this game is as good as any, as some of the scores that we've been reading here at the outset of the third quarter.
Wouldn't be surprised if they start feeding Rashad White a whole lot more. First possession for the Mounties to the house. 59 yards by White. Three-step drop, pass near side. Warfield over the 30, and a pickup of about 7 there. 2nd and 3.
Another out-of-state player from Alpharetta, Georgia. Dakota Warfield, 6'2" freshman, 185 pounds.
On the clock, 2:45 and winding down in this third quarter. A 3-receiver set out of the gun. 3-step drop to the flats to White. White gets hit instantly. Tackle's going to be credited to Xavion Avery, the product from Dorsey High School.
At halftime, it's Cabrillo College 10, Hartnell College 3.
Clock winds down under 2 minutes now in this third quarter. Hard count by Flanagan. Now he looks far side for the new play.
Here's a third quarter score. Long Beach City College leading Riverside City College 28-17.
Ball caught at the 35 by Warfield. Enough for the first down, a pickup of about 7 there.
So two powerhouses, Long Beach over Riverside, 28-17. It's 14-9 here, and we're in the final moments, final 2 minutes of the third period, and it's just kind of going back and forth. We shall see what we shall see.
Pistol set this time. The snap, play action. Dumps it up underneath, big hit laid.
Boy, he just slung his man down.
Tyson Dixon lays a big hit.
Nice catch as the receiver didn't quite get control of the ball at first, but eventually did.
Jamil Weaver actually loses a yard there. That'll create 2nd and 11 as we wind down the third quarter. Under 35 seconds to go. This might be the last play of the third. Shotgun set. Dominique Redden lined up. Schofield on a reverse, incomplete. Intended for Warfield. That'll leave 17 seconds. So Schofield came down on a jet sweep. Instead, became quarterback for a SAC. 3rd and 11 now.
So East Los Angeles College 2-1 so far. Lost the first one to Cerritos and then have won the last 2. Tonight, Mount SAC big game here. Next week, they'll be out of town at Southwestern College.
3rd and long. Over the middle. Ball tipped. Incomplete. Intended for Jordan Parham. That'll bring up the punting unit, and it'll leave 11 ticks in this third quarter.
We focused on the fact that Mount SAC has beaten the Bakersfield Renegades. Well, those same Renegades going to travel south here to East Los Angeles College on Saturday, November 2nd. They'll be right here in East LA.
Fielded at the 30-yard line, running near side. It was Blackman who returned it. About 10 yards there. That brings us to the end of the third quarter, but not before a flag on the field. So we'll stay on air for a sec here.
We've been talking about players transferring from high school to junior college, community college. We've been talking about players that have been transferring from community college to four-year schools. And we have an anecdotal note about that because of all the changes now within the actual university level. As of June of last year, any player at a major school or any school, four-year school, who sees time in either four or fewer games can claim that year as a redshirt year. So effectively, you play under 4 games, you get an extra year of eligibility. And there have been a number of major transfers according to that at the college level. We think immediately Jacob Eason going from Georgia to the University of Washington.
So after the punt return, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called against the Huskies. I thought they would flip the play around or flip the field around.
Okay, Dan, we're ready to go. Finally, there was some doubt as to who was going to do what. Is for, like you said, flipping the field, flags, all kinds of stuff is happening.
Flag. Legal procedure called against the Huskies. That'll back them up.
Is it my imagination, Dan? You said they haven't flipped the field?
They have not. Huskies should be attacking from the other way, but what do I know? Robinson around the edge.
You know, I think that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah. And the clock reads 000. It should read 15 minutes, right? Ah, there you go. Officially the end of the fourth quarter now. As the Mounties on the road playing the role of road warrior lead 14-9 against the East Los Angeles College Huskies. I'm Dan Gadino alongside Tim Mellen. We'll step aside here on Sportsnet USA. Start of the fourth quarter here from Weingart Stadium on the campus of East Los Angeles College. Really thankful, really grateful you could join us. This one looks like it's going to come to the bitter end or sweet victory for one of these teams. East Los Angeles looking to shock the world by taking a victory over number 18 East Los Angeles. As East LA will operate from their own 17-yard line, 2nd and 12, play action. Blazek nearly intercepted. Trayshawn Pickett has been active tonight for the Mounties.
It's interesting to watch the defensive set, Mount SAC, on that particular one. They didn't look too concerned about the long pass. They were covering the short pass, the sidelines. Definite zone coverage. They had two guys covering the defender, so they looked like they knew what they were doing. That particular, it's like they knew that that was the direction he was going to be throwing to.
Blazek, 3-step drop, will step up. He'll take off himself. Baseball slide to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 6 yards. That brings up 4th down.
Blazek looked like he wanted to throw, but had all his receivers covered, and didn't get anywhere near the 1st down. So once again, East Los Angeles College is going to have to drop back and punt with 14:25 remaining. They're definitely in striking distance, 14-9. This could go either way. It might go right down to the end. Might be the bounce of the ball, who knows. But we'll keep you posted.
Schofield, the speedy and dangerous Schofield, that is, standing at about his own 43. Waiting for the punt from Rangel, and a timeout called by the special teams unit at exactly 14 minutes. So that could prove to be costly, partner. That could be a timeout that East Los Angeles will need late in this ball game.
Oh, definitely, Dan. I agree with you on that one. The East Los Angeles College Huskies should have kept that timeout in their hip pocket to have it available should they need it, and especially going to need it when you're at the short end of a 14-9 score. It's not as critical as if you're the leading team, but now that could definitely come into play as time ticks down as we go later into the final quarter of the game. And East Los Angeles College coaching staff around their players right now trying to discuss what strategy they're going to be using.
A reminder, this broadcast is brought to you by DG Sports, Marketing and Broadcasting, helping your company find a sound path. 14 minutes remain. 4th and 5. Rangel will be punting to Schofield. Schofield standing at his own 45.
Now, Mount SAC earlier in this year has had a fake punt, but this is not the place to do it deep in territory if you're East Los Angeles College.
False start called against East Los Angeles. So Schofield will most likely scoot up a bit and stand at midfield now.
This is like an automobile that isn't quite tuned. They just get ready to go, and then it sputters and takes a few steps back. Sloppy, kind of sloppy, to be honest.
Good snap. Decent spiraling kick. Schofield will call a fair catch. Allows it to take a Husky bounce at the 35.
And the ball is down on about the 35-yard line.
Mount San Antonio will take over with 13:47 to go. Plenty of football remains here tonight in this final quarter. This one has been a defensive battle without a doubt.
That's right, Dan. The exact opposite of what we saw last night in the Cleveland and San Pedro High School game. One a passing team, the other a running team. And we've seen a combination here tonight and a defensive battle going back and forth, like you say, and a lot of really, as I mentioned earlier, sloppy penalties, too much time, illegal procedure. Just, it's definitely interrupted the flow of the game and has impeded, I think, a higher scoring game.
And we will re-kick because of another penalty called against East Los Angeles. Schofield standing at his 50. Rangel will attempt once again the punt. 4th and 15. Oh, Rangel drops it. Schofield allows it to roll. Nearly the same result. Mount San Antonio will take over from their own 35-yard line. On the clock, 13 minutes, 33 seconds to go.
Now, that was an interesting play on Schofield's part as he went to catch the ball. He looked like a center fielder who misjudged a ball that had been hit too far.
He panicked. He had to duck also. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah,
he was about to hit him, and so he just panicked, ducked, and said, not this time.
Yeah, he assumed that because the snap from center was fumbled, that then he's going to start charging the play, but he got a good kickoff. And then he had to turn around and chase back. I want to say chase the baseball back towards the fence is what it looked like.
White, straight up the gut, manages to pick up 4 yards to the 39-yard line.
Now, if Schofield had held his ground and not charged, he would have caught the ball easily, and he would have made a good pickup. I said he would have easily gone into the East Los Angeles College territory. So that could be a big item there. Just misjudging with the fumble and then misjudging the kick and how to charge and defend it.
They fake the jet sweep and hand it off to White. White being brought down by Cater and Ben Key. Those two players all night long have been so effective for East Los Angeles as we get a 3rd and 6 from the 39-yard line for Mount San Antonio. Clock reads 12:40. 12:39, 12:38. At what point does the clock become the enemy of the Huskies?
Mount SAC next week is headed to their home field, Covina District Field. They'll be playing Saddleback.
Pistol set once again, 3 wide, 2 in the backfield. Flanagan throws near side, wide open, White.
First down.
Nice juke move. Taken down at the 37-yard line.
That's about a 27-yard pickup, Dan. He was wide open.
Not so fast, though. Flag on the field.
Here we go again with the machine sputtering and being called back.
Holding.
Does that frustrate you, Dan, as much as it does me? You just want to see a good game and some action. You think finally they're going to get going. Oh, my goodness, here's another penalty.
Well, as the play-by-play guy, I could care less. I'm neutral, partner. 12:06 on the game clock, fourth quarter, 14-9 in favor of number 18, Mount San Antonio on the road. Definitely playing the role of road warrior.
Dan, you mean you don't want to see a good game? It just
It's good either way for me, partner. Love of the game.
all right.
Clock winds down under 11:50. Flanagan, shotgun set, three-step drop, steps up, throws down the sideline, caught! 30, 20, he'll go to the house. Touchdown, Mounties. Sean Bowden from 66 yards out. Flanagan to Bowden, the connection works. 11:37 remains, fourth quarter. See that? Good things come. Still in the hunt, though, is East Los Angeles.
Dunk over kick, no field to hold.
A great pass play. He was wide open, good defensive footwork, got open, and then he went to the house. There was nobody's going to catch him.
Extra point is good. Make it a 21-9 ball game now. Mount San Antonio pulling away late.
A really good core of offensive receivers and variety have these SAC Mounties. A variety of receivers. And as the play just kept going back and penalties, then eventually you have that sudden thunder, and that's what happened right there. A long pass play puts them on top now, 21-9. Still plenty of time for the East Los Angeles College Huskies to get back into it, but they could use a good play. They could use a score. There's a lot of things they could use right now, but definitely with 11:37 remaining, the Mounties, Mount SAC are in the proverbial driver's seat. And we'll see how they respond defensively to those Mounties, and we'll see how they respond offensively to the Huskies. Here we go, Dan.
Dunko boots it away. Robinson from his own 6-yard line runs it near side, has some space, has one man to beat. Excellent return to the 35-yard line of the Mounties.
I was counting it as he went. That's a 60-yard return. That's the type of play that ELAC was looking for. And, of course, here's a penalty flag.
Extracurricular activity, partner.
60-yard run. Now, that's the type of impetus that East Los Angeles is going to need. Now, if they can just keep up that momentum, they'll be right back in it.
Who's the flag against, partner? That's the question. Unsportsmanlike conduct. That'll
the
push
old
him up 15 yards and into the Mountie red zone.
The old chippy play. You mean you can't be happy with a 21-9 lead and you get jealous and bitter and resentful because your opponent all of a sudden has a good return?
15-yard line.
And just help them out. Mount SAC Escort Service, East Los Angeles College, just step right up. Here's a 15-yard penalty for you.
A must-score situation without a doubt. 11:26 remains, final quarter. Huskies will operate with the 3-by-1.
Tons of time left. 21-9. This could be a new ball game very soon. Keep your fingers crossed. There's no penalties, I hope.
3-man front from Mount SAC. Low snap. The fade route into the end zone.
What a beautiful defensive play. We mentioned earlier all those athleticism of the receivers and the defenders.
Traquan Heath there defending well.
Traquan Heath, he went up sideways, around, in between, inside out, and somehow he twisted and got his hand up and managed to knock the ball away.
Previous play was intended for Dan Dexter. So 2nd and 10 now. On the clock, 11:21 remains.
Traquan from Highland Springs, Virginia, as the out-of-state players just keep on coming.
They'll keep it on the ground. Spin move. Possibly picks up 2 yards. That's Darian Turner.
Number 36, Darian Turner on the carry.
Clock winds down under 11 minutes now. 3rd and about 7.
Big play coming up.
Question for you, partner. Is this 4-down territory? Or are you satisfied with the field goal if you don't get the 3rd down here?
I think I would be, because if you've got the momentum to get this far, with that much time left, you can do it again.
Into the end zone. Late flag comes in. Intended for Darian Jones. Trayshawn Pickett defending there. He's touching his chest like, my back. On the clock, 10:36. We'll see what the head official has to say here.
There was some contact with the receiver and the defender, but not enough, I don't think, to merit.
Another freebie given to East Los Angeles. Free 10 yards. That'll put East Los Angeles at the 6-yard line. 1st and goal now. Clock reads 10:36.
Yeah, that's right, Dan. As the contact I mentioned, no penalty there, but the penalty away from the play. And as you say, another freebie. Just step right up. Here's the end zone. Try again.
Maury Rams in the backfield, lined up to the right-hand side. Play action. They'll go into the end zone. Jump ball. Incomplete. Pickett just doing his job all night long for the Mounties. Playing excellent defense.
Great defense, and I've noticed the passes the quarterback is making towards the corner of the end zone for the jump ball. They're a little too long. They're either too long or they're too wide and out of bounds.
The big package right now. Ben Key at running back.
Okay.
Jamal Evans at quarterback. Tui Tupu'o in at fullback.
Second and goal, 2nd and 7. Timeout.
Timeout called by the Mounties as they recognize the big package. Now you get a sense that they were going to run the ball, without a doubt, with Ben Key, the big boy.
Well, yeah, obviously, Dan, when they put him in, that's what they had in mind. But I wanted to ask you, if you're a coach, those 2 kind of dumb penalties that they took, if you're a coach, what do you say to your players after that, when you just basically let the team get that much closer after that good return?
Take care of your responsibilities. Just do your job.
Yeah.
Trying to do too much. On the clock, 10:29. 2nd and goal. Ben Key in the backfield, the star D tackle of East Los Angeles.
This East Los Angeles crowd is just getting ready to lift the place. They have wanted something to cheer about, and they are brimming, as it were, with enthusiasm, want to cut loose.
Athlete Jamal Evans in at quarterback, under center.
2nd and 7.
Key bulldozing through. Manages to pick up a few yards to the 4-yard line. That'll create 3rd and goal. Clock reads 10:15, 10:14, and ticking.
Look how many men it took to bring him down. He just hit a brick wall.
The
My
whole squad.
goodness. I keep thinking, of course, you remember William Refrigerator Perry. And
That's the exact mirror that they're trying to copy, huh? Under 9:50.
third down.
Key
Here he goes.
does
Not quite.
not get it to the 1 yard line. 4th and goal now. Got a stoppage. Injured player.
I say give it to him again if he's not injured. He's not the one that's injured.
Officials timeout.
I believe that might be Amir Rogers, the sophomore from Long Beach Poly. On the clock, 9:40 to go as the Mount San Antonio Mounties lead 21-9 here on Sportsnet USA. Amir Rogers being helped off the field.
Well, here we go, Dan.
9:40 remains. 4th and go. If you can't punch it in from a yard out, you don't deserve it. Ben Key once again in the backfield.
I say he gets it.
Oh,
he
Evans
fell down.
falls down on his back. Turnover on downs.
Oh, my goodness. How depressing, discouraging, and otherwise forms of negative if you're an East Los Angeles College fan. Of all the inconceivable things to happen when you're that close, to have your quarterback fall down on a handoff?
Clock reads 9:27. We have an offsides call. So East Los Angeles will get another chance.
Oh, my goodness. Talk about an angel flying in with a free gift. Okay, hold on to the ball now. Give it to your big guy, Key.
Or how about sneak it in?
Or sneak it in. You guys do your blocking up front, and this is what we're going to do.
4th and goal once again. Key into the end zone. Touchdown, Huskies. A 21-15 ball game now. Star nose tackle. And all of a sudden, star running back in this 4th quarter. Ben Key with the touchdown from 1 yard out.
You can be sure that the East Los Angeles quarterback is thanking his lucky stars for that defensive penalty.
Seriously.
I would hate, in the event of a loss, to go in and face my coaching staff after something like that happened.
Got a player in the back of the end zone cramping up possibly. So we'll step aside for the injury. 21-15, Mount SAC in the lead. Sportsnet USA.
That's right, Dan. We've got ourselves a game now, finally.
Kick is up and through. Make it a 21-16 ball game.
Great job on behalf of the holder. It was a bad snap. The ball was sideways on the ground. He picked it up, planted it nicely. Real good job. We're at East Los Angeles College. I'm Tim Mellen. I have Dan Gadino with me, Sportsnet. Nice to be with you. I was pressed into service at a moment's notice.
Yes, you were.
I thought I'd come and see, well, nice relaxing game. Maybe I'll learn something. I look up at the booth and my partner, Dan, up here, kid, up here. I need you. And so here we are.
9:14 remains, 4th quarter.
Dan, what do you look for now with the score 21-16 and 9:14 remaining?
Mounties aren't done yet. They're going to put the ball through the air, and they'll most likely rely on White to get them big first down yardage on the ground. Schofield.
He had a fair catch, and he had lots of room to run. Now that's...
He actually touched the back of the end zone.
Oh, okay.
At the JUCO level and the college level, if your foot touches the goal line, automatic touchback. So,
okay.
So they'll operate from the 25.
It didn't look like it touched the thing. What?
21-16 ball game, 9:13 remains. Flanagan, hands off to White. White.
Play getting chippy, very chippy.
John Tui, Tupu'o, and Ben Key there with the tackle. That's a tough one, partner, 99. Pronounce that one.
A, B, C, D, E, F.
Three-man front, 2nd and 9, 8:33 and counting, fourth quarter.
Great to be with you, fans.
Low snap. That's Malik Thompson. Actually gets stopped for a short loss. That'll create 3rd and 9. Crucial play here for East Los Angeles and their defense.
With a 21-16 score.
Clock reads under 8 minutes officially now.
Now, if they can stop this at 3rd and 9, get them to punt, put the ball back in the Huskies' hands, Huskies all of a sudden knocking on the door of momentum.
Wide receivers near side. Flanagan looking, evades a defender, dumps it off to Thompson. Thompson, a gang of Huskies there.
Exactly. He had to get about, from the point of contact, he had to get about 6 extra yards. He was surrounded by about 4 or 5 guys, and great job by the Husky defense in surrounding their man and making sure that there was no way he was going to get free.
No team can afford a mistake at this point. Blackman back deep to receive, standing at his 35. Dunkel will be punting. Oh, he drops it. East LA will take over in the red zone. 7:07 remains, fourth quarter.
Look at that picture on the field there, folks. Total rejoicing on behalf of East Los Angeles College. The team that was lethargic, slow, a game that was lethargic and slower than that, has been infused with a sense of multi-energy as we approach 7 minutes and 7 seconds to go here. East Los Angeles College with the momentum, and you can see them around their coach right there.
Offensive coordinator DeJuan Drummer giving him the pep talk there.
Mount SAC losing last week at Chaffee, a close game, 24-22.
1st and 10 from the 15, 7:07 to go. Roll out to the end zone, too long, incomplete.
Good double coverage there as he's throwing for the corner of the end zone.
Peterson was the intended receiver. 2nd and 10 now.
You know, that would be interesting. You don't want to get too far ahead, but should East Los Angeles come back and win, that would be 2 losses in a row for Mount SAC, and be interesting study to see as you go down through the years how many times Mount SAC has lost multi-games in a row.
2nd and 10 from the 15, 7 minutes to go. In motion, Munguia. False start called against East Los Angeles. So I know it's second down, but if you're East Los Angeles, you should not be ashamed to take at least a field goal. Correct?
Well, yeah, of course, with 6:58. Don't forget now they lost that timeout, which would really be valuable about this time.
Each team has only one timeout remaining. Trips far side. 2nd and 15 from the 20. Munguia near side in motion. Blazik.
I'd
looking.
run if I were you. I would run if I were
Blazik looking, throws it away.
Oh, he had a huge gain. He could have at least gotten to about the 11 or the 10-yard line.
That brings up 3rd and 15. On the clock, 6:49 as Blazik gets up gingerly, favoring his left leg now.
He could have run and gotten sure yardage.
Play is in. East LA will operate with 4 wide receivers. A near non-existent pass offense. Blazik under duress, stepping up, can't evade it, sack. Jay Brown with the sack, the freshman D lineman from Auburn, Washington with the big play. That'll bring out the field goal unit, and the pressure is on Juan Rangel. 6:20 and rolling. They'll have to hurry here. If I'm East LA, I want to do this quickly. The kick will be attempted between the hashes.
32-yard line, 42-yard attempt. Left-footed kicker. Bad snap. Bad kick.
Wide right.
Bad move to throw the pass on those previous 2 plays when he could have sprinted for the or for the sideline.
Mount San Antonio practically was trying to give the game away to East Los Angeles after Dunkel, the punter, dropped the snap, placing East Los Angeles at the 15-yard line. Mistake after mistake. And Mount San Antonio once again with the ball with 6:04 to go in this 4th quarter. 21-16, Mounties in the lead.
You know, this is a game of gifts and mistakes, and I think the one who makes the last mistake or the last gift when time runs out is the team that's going to possibly win by default.
Rashad White and Flanagan in the backfield. 1 tight end lined up on the left-hand side, 3 wide. This will be out of the pistol set, not the shotgun set. 6:04 to go. White between the tackles. Picks up about 2 yards, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, coming into this game, East Los Angeles College with the 300 yards of passing and only 116 yards of rushing. The quarterback just could not get the pass out of his mind when he could have run. And that's the hazards of the passing team there, folks.
That 4-man front, one of the best in the nation without a doubt. Under 4:25. 21-16 ball game. Flanagan gets the first down. Big hit late, but caught. That's Sean Bowden, who had a huge touchdown grab earlier from 66 yards out.
Now, East Los Angeles College, they're going to have to make sure that they keep the Mounties out of field goal range. They want to keep them bottled up because you know what a field goal is going to do. It's going to put the game out of reach as far as a touchdown is concerned for East Los Angeles College. So they want to do the best they can to keep them at that end of the field.
Pistol set, 3 wide. White with the carry from the right hash. Ends up at the 45-yard line. Excellent rush there, a gain of 6. That creates 2nd and 4. Clock continues to wind down. 4:28, 4:27, 4:26. Definitely the enemy of the Huskies. Under 4:15 now.
Now, if you're Mount SAC, you just keep the ball on the ground, eat up clock, take a long time to bring your players into the game, and run the clock down as long as you can.
Under 4 minutes.
Before snapping the ball.
White once again gets the first down into Husky territory. Ball marked at the 48-yard line of the Huskies. So you get a sense maybe 2 more first downs in this game will be in the hands officially of the Mounties.
That's right, Dan. As we said, they're just slowly and methodically moving that football. They're across the 50-yard line. 3:36 remaining, clock moving.
White, without a doubt, is well over 100 yards. Don't have the stats with us just yet. 3:25 remains.
If you're ELAC, you're going to try to strip the ball.
White tries to bounce it out. Evades 2 defenders. Manages to get back to the line of scrimmage. Makes nothing into at least. Back to the line of scrimmage.
I see a lot of tackles, which are good and really good tackling to bottle them up, but I don't see any East Los Angeles defenders reaching in to try to slap the ball away.
Under 3 minutes now. 2nd and 10. Pistol set, 3 wide. Low snap. False start will be called against the Mounties. Maybe the favor that East LA needed.
Yeah, exactly. With 2nd and 10, that pushes it back. At least if nothing else, you don't want to say it delays the inevitable, but it definitely delays and pushes them back.
Clock continues to roll, under 2:32 now. Under 2:20. Play clock at 10 seconds. White has a seam, gets back into Husky territory, and a decent gain of about 8 yards. That'll create 3rd and 5. Coach Bobby Godinez was asking for the clock to stop. Ball marked at the 45 of East LA.
He asked for it to stop, but it keeps going. He didn't get it to stop. 1:44 remaining. And of course, Mount SAC taking all the time in the world to come to the line of scrimmage.
1 second to go on the play clock. They barely get it off in time. Bulldozing forward. Did he get the first down? That might be the dagger. Ball marked at the 39-yard line. It'll be 4th and 1 now. East Los Angeles holding on to their final timeout. I would expect the Mounties to go with a hard count here. Try to draw East LA off sides and then probably take the penalty. Under 50 seconds. 5 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, they did it.
There's the hard count.
There it was. And that looks like defensive holding.
Hold on a bit.
The receiver.
Hold on a bit. Who jumped?
Were they drawn off? As you said, Dan, the hard count, that was what did it. It worked. But maybe one of the offensive linemen jumped.
Clock is stopped at 42 seconds.
Offsides.
Yep.
Good
It'll
call,
be
Dan.
Yeah, automatic first down for the Mounties. That might do it. Pending a botch snap.
Victory formation.
Yeah, victory formation without a doubt.
Oh, you know what East Los Angeles is going to be thinking? They're going to think, oh, my goodness, we came so close. How could we blow a gift like that? Offsides again, and now things are getting chippy.
Ben Key getting aggressive there. Well, that's the type of mindset that has really held back East Los Angeles through the years. Those self-imposed mistakes, without a doubt, had a factor here tonight. As the clock winds down to 000, 10 seconds remain. That will do it.
And they're just going to let it run out.
Mount San Antonio on the road escapes. They move to 3-1. East Los Angeles moves to 2-2 on the season. A victory, 21-16 over the East LA College Huskies. East Los Angeles practically was given the ball game with that botched snap during the punt. The punter, Dunkel, was not able to hold it, was given a freebie at the 15-yard line of the Mounties, but still could not get points out of it.
Yeah, and the one that's the one you called, Dan, and the one that I saw when the East Los Angeles quarterback, he could have gotten 6 yards easily on the run, but he was so mindset on finding an open receiver, and they were all he had to do is tuck the ball in, sprint for the sideline, and he's that much closer. Then you're 4 yards away from another first down, and instead, then the penalty happened, pushed him way back, and things went downhill from that for the ELAC Huskies.
So that will do it for us here on Sportsnet USA. For Rashawn Haylock, Ed Ford, Tim Mellen, I'm Dan Gadino. Everyone have a good night. This one's the final. The Mounties win it on the road, 21-16 over the East LA Huskies. Good night.
Good night.